to be someone or something you are not. Someone or something you are not. You are not. I am not. Commitment. An agreement that hinders freedom of action. I'm committed to the school to jail pipeline. I'm committed to toxic families. I'm committed to stop and frisk. I'm committed to a society that hates my very well-being. I'm committed to hate. I'm committed to insecurity. The mask removed, the mask invented, the mask due to time. This commitment has coerced me. I now find myself severing ties of steel. I lost my freedom of action. Thank you.
Thank you, Winter. Actually, as you were reading that poem or reciting it, I can think of at least 5 books that some of our students have read that would apply to that poem. And your assignment was to take a book that you've read and write a poem that relates to that book and or to you. And you've done, I mean, Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. There's so many books that have been available to the Hate Stewart youth that you hit with that poem. And I'm glad that you chose to read that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Send it to me. I'm going to post my email.
Okay, I will.
Anyone else? All right, don't be shy, especially my officers. You all have been doing a lot of talking and I'm sure a lot of reading these last few months. We got time for about 2 or 3 more. You know that poetry is interesting because poetry can be song lyrics, poetry can be raps, poems, poetry can be, I asked for 10 lines, but each line could be a word. Is anyone else on, Gwen, who is in?
I was actually looking to see Angela, and and as we were, going through that, I'm just, for me, poetry is just so incredible. Not that I am a poet, but I love the art of poetry. I think those creative minds are absolutely phenomenal. And I think about what's taking place right now with the COVID-19 and being in the house and as a woman, and usually like to keep myself up. It's been a struggle not to get my nails done and my eyebrows arched, and just staying on top of the grooming. And it was so interesting. I sent a few words over to Hank that I had scribed about my experience, and I was like, "But I need to put that into a piece of poetry because it has been an absolute struggle to keep things very, very nice."
Okay, I am not going to press you all, but you know that there are prizes involved in participating, and you've had time to think about a couple of things that have been going on and that relate to some of the books and articles you're reading. I mentioned a few on Facebook yesterday because most of you went to Montgomery, Alabama, and you have either seen or read Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. And that to me makes me want to express myself in writing. Some of you all keep journals, and I'm sure that you had something to say that could have been turned into a poem about that experience, about that book, about that movie. These are just giving out some hints.
Good morning. This is Nicholas Wilkinson.
Good morning, Nicholas.
Hey, Nick.
I would like to do a poem called Mr. Bullet by Christopher Mitchell. What if bullets had a union to protect themselves from being fired? I'm here, dressed, standing next in line, but I'm not working today. It's a holiday. I'm fasting from the taste of flesh. I will meditate in my chamber and pray for a better path. I'm known for firing out, but I refuse to spiral out. No ricochets, no bouncing off walls for me. So no matter how hard you squeeze, oh, you won't trigger me. Whenever the hammer falls, oh yes, it will be in vain. I am not getting any innocent metal blood on my full metal jacket, tearing through anyone's cool today. Oh, this is a good time for you to go back home and find a better way to deal with these bullies and not be the coward they accuse you of by using me to do your dirty work. Courage isn't extinguishing a life. Anyone can do that. Courage is standing strong when life threatens to pistol grip your soul and squeeze everything you got. Say no, say stop. Have you bothered telling your parents or your teacher or just punching that idiot in his mouth? Excuse me, sir. Feeling down is not a reason to pick me up, so put me down because Mr. Bullet is going away for a holiday. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nicholas. That has passion, it has anger, it has relating to events that are taking place in our country with our children, with our adults, with justice and injustice. And I hope that you will write one. You said that was by someone else?
Yes.
And I think you can write one too. So get on it.
Hi, Miss Angela. This is Adana McBride, the Youth
Good
Council
morning, Adana.
Vice President, and I wrote a poem a summer ago for a leadership camp I was a part of, and I'll just read it now. It's a little.
Can you tell us what it relates to that you've read?
The incarceration of Blacks.
Okay.
Mostly Black males.
Gotcha.
Okay. My freedom in chains. They target us for being Black, trying to bring us back to the days when Blacks were so used to being slaves. This has been our reality for so much time that being Black in America is the ultimate crime. Freedom wasn't won. The fun just goes on for the people. How could it be the perfect Black citizens living the Black life get stopped at a traffic light, turns out to get life? A broken system will always fail to heal the ones seeking emancipation from incarceration, either there for the crimes they didn't do. There's no way around it. It's gone on and since the days my ancestors' freedom was torn away, and the tears that wept going astray, and all that's left is the memory of death, my freedom in chains. And that's it.
And that's wonderful. So the rest of you, I look to see your poems. I'm going to post my email address again, and I want to see them today or tomorrow or whenever. And we'll find a way to get them on the Righteous Readers Facebook page, if not somewhere else also. Reminder that next month is May, of course. A lot of things go on in May, or usually go on in May, that may or may not take place in May this year. But we are living in a new reality now. And a lot of the books that you read, a lot of the movies that are being made, a lot of the articles that you read are dealing with that new reality. So those are all food for fodder for your writing. And I would think that during this time in your life, especially with what's going on now, and you're being homebound, that you would start keeping a journal if you haven't already. And start writing about some of the experiences that you're having, emotional, physical, reality or not, and keep that, because that's always something you can use to foster your writing. And with that, I am ending this, and I hope that I see some more posts before the day is over, and enjoy the rest of your day. And Torri, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Angela. That was fantastic. Boy, that was entertaining. Don't you all think? Man, poetry is just so absolutely incredible. And wow, those are some great, great, great pieces. Thank you, Winter, Nick, and our Vice President, Adana. Thank you so much for putting yourself on the line. It takes a lot of courage to actually come and speak before an audience, even if that audience is virtual. So thank you all so much for what you've done. Now I'd like to bring to the forefront our beautiful secretary, Ms. Michaela Carter, to introduce our phenomenal guest speaker. Michaela, the floor is yours.
Can you guys see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good morning. Dr. Torri Love Griffin, aka the Love Doctor, is a licensed professional counselor, a transformational life coach, and the creator of the exciting License to Date relationship training programs for teens, college students, and adults. She's also the CEO of Love Living Life Today Counseling and Coaching Services, and author of the hit My Little Book of Wisdom, 52 Lessons I've Learned from Living Life. She is committed to helping men and women, young and old, create exquisite, delicious, and beautiful relationships by using common sense to remove nonsense so our relationships make sense. She has taught, spoken, or facilitated groups at the Kellogg Graduate School of Management, Spelman College, Arabian Mountain High School, Ivy Preparatory Academy, and many other local schools and businesses. Dr. Griffin received her bachelor's in psychology from Emory University, her master's in guidance and counseling from the University of West Georgia, and her PhD in counselor education from Georgia State University. She is a member of American Counseling Association and American Association of Christian Counselors and co-leads WATS, Atlanta's Women Aspiring Together to Succeed organization. She is featured as a teacher in the new movie Inspired, The Dream Lives On, and is proud to know that her new License to Date official dating manual for teens is changing lives across the U.S. As she always says, you can live life or you can love living life. The choice is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Torri Love Griffin.
Thank you so much, Michaela. That was a lovely introduction. Thank you so much. Good morning, and good morning to everyone from the Stewart Foundation. I would like to say thank you so much to Ms. Gwen and Mr. Hank for allowing me to come back and have this opportunity through social distancing to hang out with you guys and talk some more about the do's and don'ts of youthful dating while social distancing. So good morning, and good morning to everyone. Now, if you can see me fine and hear me fine, I need to do a quick little roll call, all right? So for my roll call, I would like you to go to the chat and say, yes, I can hear you. Everybody there?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, that's wonderful. All right, so welcome again to this conversation on dating. Now, hello? In this conversation on dating, we've already had this conversation, as a matter of fact, and the difference with what we're doing today and what we did the last time is we are under a very different social environment than we were back then. It was just 3 months ago when we were free to do whatever we want, but now we're under this pressure, this angst, this anxiety to not leave home, not see our favorite and special friends, and still try to maintain our lives while we're doing everything from home. You never thought in your wildest dreams that this would be something that would happen in our generation for each one of us to have to practice this kind of self-discipline. So for this conversation, though, you know, I would much rather be in the room with you. I'd much rather see your beautiful faces. I'd much rather be able to touch and talk to you, which is our normal way. We have to utilize this virtual process. So we're going to use it, but I still want us to be interactive. I still want us to find a way to communicate, and I still want to hear your voices. I want to hear you hear me. I want to talk to you and hear you talk back. So we're going to have an opportunity for you to unmute during our conversation and then answer some of the questions by chat. You get to use your fingers. I know everybody knows how to chat, but we want to see you chatting with us. So, oh yes, there we go. I can actually see you guys chatting. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So again, if you were with me the last time we talked about this, I would like you to tell us something you remember about the do's and don'ts of dating that we did before. If you were not with us, that's fine. We're going to cover some of that same information, but some of the do's that we're going to cover are going to be similar, and some of them are going to be specifically for right now, because right now we're in a life or death situation. And your relationships, believe it or not, and the way you handle your relationships, believe it or not, can impact life and death in today's situation. So before we get into today's situation, I want to hear from some of you. What were some of the things we talked about the last time, if you remember anything at all? Write it or raise your hand so we can choose you to talk. Ready, set, go. I'm looking for the, nobody was with us last time? That works for adults too. And let me add this about our conversation today. We're talking about dating, but we're actually having a conversation that's appropriate for those who are not old enough to date yet. I don't know if any of you would identify yourselves as not old enough to date, but even if you're old enough to date, that doesn't mean you're dating. Actually, the best time to learn about and figure out and make decisions about dating is prior to actually doing it. So this conversation is for those who are just thinking that one day in my life, sometime in the future, I ultimately plan to fall probably in strong life with someone, maybe even take a friendship, as Miss Angela told us about in that book, take a friendship that kind of is asking for more and allow that relationship to develop. So this conversation is not just for the youth, it's actually good for the adults. Adults, tune in, I've got something for you as well. So if you have a journal, pull it out. I want you to do some writing today. If you don't have a journal, you have paper. You know, they have this stuff called paper and you know, these things called pens. Remember these? They used to use these a lot. Get that out because I want you to do some introspective work today. And I'm going to ask you while you're social distancing to do some introspective work that you will be able to review later. Again, some of the best songs, some of the best books come from people who are confined, come from a time when they have to focus in on their lives and on who they are now, who they once were, and who they choose to become. So don't be ashamed to pull out a pen, a pencil. If you happen to use your thumbs really well and you want to write it on your phone, that's fine. I'm going to ask you to do some assignments. All right. So with that said, I don't hear anyone who remembers anything we talked about before. So that's great. We have a whole new audience. So let's get started. We're going to move on. You already know me. I'm the parent of 2 emerging adults. Those of you remember one of my adults who came through Stewart Foundation who's doing well in college. And he is, of course, studying at home because they closed all of the colleges. Who knew that would ever happen? I'm obviously a love relationships coach and my intro was already done, but I just want you to know that I am connected to this process. I understand some of the challenges that youth are facing. As a matter of fact, I hang out with teens all the time and I hear from them from around the country. Every summer, I get to talk to the young ladies at Spelman who are coming from across the nation and they're bringing their conversations, their issues and their challenges, and they're all having the same kind of struggles. The same struggles that are going on in Atlanta, some of them are going on in other parts of the country. So I love talking about this. I can do this all day, but as you know, we have a limited time, but I want to make sure it's powerful and strong and memorable. So I brought with me some assistants. I have an assistant with me who's going to help me today. His name is Command Master Chief Leon Walker Jr. He's the father of 3 emerging adults. A 32-year decorated Navy veteran, former drill sergeant, Army recruiter, and motivational speaker, mentor, author. So, Leon, are you there? Can you hear me? Can we hear you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Awesome. Welcome to the Stewart Foundation, and thank you for helping me out today. And we're going to go ahead and cover 5 do's, 5 don'ts, and then we're going to leave a little room for questions, comments, and conversation toward the end. But we definitely want to fill you guys with these do's and don'ts of youthful dating while social distancing. All right, so before we go anywhere, let's talk about some items and issues in the news. Does anybody know anything? Has anybody heard anything about these 2, we'll just say, dating figures? Anybody have any comments? You can go ahead and type and chat, or you can raise your hands, because Yaya Mayweather's been in the news with her boyfriend, Mr. NBA Youngboy. Now, I know most people have heard about what's going on with these 2, but for anyone who hasn't heard, Yaya Mayweather is the daughter of Floyd Mayweather, and she has pretty much had plenty available to her most of her life. And she happens to be in love with this rapper here. I want to hear from some of you. If you have seen or heard what's going on in the news with them, what do you think about what's going on? Because they're dating. That's why they're together. They have fallen in love. But what result has occurred? What has happened as a result of these two being in each other's lives? Let me hear from you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Michaela. Her one word, toxic, toxic, and toxic. They are in a very toxic relationship. Also, who else has something that they've seen about these two?
This is Adana. I heard that like she stabbed somebody over him or something like that.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That is exactly what I heard too. Anybody else who's heard anything? Yes, Destiny, go ahead and tell us your comment. Go ahead and unmute yourself so you can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I was just saying that I think it's very disfortunate that women lose themselves because of men. They often cause us like to not think before we act, and love will make you do foolish things. So.
You know, that was very well put and very honest, because in this case, for those who haven't seen the news, what Yaya did was she went over to a young boy's place and found his pregnant baby mama with him. And after the fight ensued, Yaya got a couple of knives and literally stabbed the girl. The girl was expecting, again, this is hearsay at this point because I've heard several stories, but my understanding is Yaya stabbed the girl. And as a result of stabbing the girl, I've heard that she lost the baby. Now, when someone outside stabs and kills someone who is growing an unborn child, then that counts as an actual murder. And that could be why we see that she's got, she's facing 99 years behind bars for this assault because of a fight, because she wasn't in a trusting relationship with someone she's been in love with for some time, who's obviously not treating her well. Who knows why that would be? Maybe because of his life. Yet, where's she going? Where's she going after having met him? Is her life better or worse because of this young man? You tell me. I'm reading. Oh. So, anyone else want to comment? Leon, did you want to tell us something about this?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
So one of the key things there is, as you all can see, a lot of young men and women and adults too, we enjoy money. We enjoy lavish gifts, big houses, nice cars. That young lady at 19 years old, not even that 19 years old, before that, she had all of these things. Her father is worth almost $1 billion. So just imagine what she has access to. Her father has probably 100 cars, 20 houses. But we all talk, you know, when it's posted in social media, it's about what he has. But it's never about what the little girl or the little boys are missing. That's what we need to hone in on. And I want you all to know that money is not that important. Money is never more important than family. Your mother and father could be rich here. If you stay with your grandparents, they could be rich. But if you're not getting that love and support from your parents, if you don't feel connected to your parents, you're going to look for that connection and love from somewhere else. And you got to understand that also, if you're looking for that connection and love from someone else, that person can be just as broken or as dysfunctional as you are. So don't think that money is everything, jewelry, and don't be drawn in by materialistic things. Find out what that person has to offer you aside from a car and a house and money, because that's not enough.
That's a good point. I think when people like, I can't say who exactly I'm referring to here, but if you think about what she's used to having, which is whatever she wants, and when you think about him as well, now that he's in the star world, having exactly what he wants, I have a feeling that they have a lot more conflict going on in the relationship, as evidenced by what she was completely willing to do outside of the relationship. And yet their relationship between the two of them seems to still be quite strong. He was completely okay with what was going on, as far as I understand. Again, I'm outside. I didn't exactly happen to be there that night, but I do know that these two are in a toxic relationship. But a lot of teens and young people are in toxic relationships. I think there's some older people in toxic relationships as well. And unfortunately, neither of these two came through the License to Date relationship training program, so they don't really know how they can help each other become better at life. I think they think they're doing the best for each other, and I'm sure they think that what they're doing is great. However, as was it Michaela said, no, someone else said, they're not able to do for themselves what they should do They're so focused on each other, or she at least was so focused on this young man that she thought she should go to jail. Do you think she thought that was the goal of this relationship? Probably not. Which points to another interesting couple in the news recently. And we really want to talk about these things because when you pick someone to be involved with, you're picking their whole lifestyle. You're picking everything that they think and do because that becomes a part of your agenda. So it's important to check the agenda before you involve people since this is their lifestyle, or at least his, or who knows. It's just something we have to pay attention to. So let's look at this situation. Does anyone recognize this story? You seen this in the news? The Clark Atlanta University student who helped her boyfriend murder her roommate, Alexis Crawford? Does anyone remember this story? It was in November of last year. What, again, based on the news stories, Alexis and her roommate were buddies, hung out with each other at each other's homes. Her roommate, got a boyfriend. Boyfriend assaulted Alexis. One day they were drinking a little too much. Something happened. Alexis went to the law and wanted the young man removed from her by a certain distance. And I guess 3 days later, Alexis shows up missing, can't find her. It turns out that, this is such an awful story, I'm sorry. This is so awful because these two, anyone seen this? Let me get your comments before I go on. Anyone seen it and have a comment? If you want to raise your hand and just tell us, that's great, go ahead. All right, I'll read yours. Shauna, do you want to tell us yourself? Shauna says, I remember hearing about this story and thinking, why is it necessary to murder someone over this? And it is sad and heart-wrenching, says Margie. It is absolutely awful that we would lose a college student over anything. That is the whole reason we go to college, so we don't get lost, so we can accomplish great things in life. Yet, these two young ladies who matriculated, got their GPA straight, took care of their SATs, got into college, became roommates, probably on purpose. Yet at the addition of one person, caused all three of their lives to be over. Because these two boyfriend and girlfriend ended up in a fight. He chokes Alexis to death. And these two decided, here's the best thing we should do. Let's put her in a box and drop her in the park and act like nothing happened. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Let me see what Reagan had to say. I've seen this, and it was heartbreaking to know that the girl was backstabbed by her own friend, by her own roommate. Her roommate was supposed to protect her. That is part of the responsibility of being in relationships. Love relationships are not the only important relationships we have. Girlfriend, sister friend relationships are important. Friend, male friend, woman friend, that's a very important relationship. When you find love in your life, it's really important to not let that interfere with or destroy the rest of your life. It's just a portion, a slice of the pie, as they say. So if anyone else wants to comment on this, I would love to hear what you think they were thinking when it comes to them making the best decision. The best decision they can come up with was, let's kill her. Anyone?
Can I chime in, Dr. Love?
Yes, please.
Was that somebody before me?
No, go ahead.
The key thing here is there's a lot of key things in this situation. I always talk about when you meet someone, talk about at least discuss their past and your past. At least talk about, let's discuss your parents. Had anybody asked me about my past and my parents, they would have found out a whole bunch of red flags. And then by the time you ask yourself, well, how did we get to this point? How did we get to being upset and wanting to murder this young lady? It's too late. It's too late. Like you said the other day, let's talk about what if. What if this happens? What if we're dating and a young lady comes over and you find that I'm cheating on you, or whatever the case may be? What if? Role play. Think about it. Go through it. Process it. But most times people process it when it's too late. And when rather you beating somebody up or hurting somebody or killing somebody, it's not like anybody can master how to kill someone. So you're going to leave traits behind. You're going to leave clues behind. But nobody thinks about that because most of the time it's always in the heat of passion. That's all I have.
And I want to read some of the comments that I hear. Thank you so much. And yes, Misa says that yes, this happened in the district where she works, and it leaves the community and the families completely devastated because yes, Alexis was a part of our Atlanta community. She was our daughter, she was our cousin, she was our sister. And we want every one of our college students to succeed and not fail. How many times do you think the three of these thought going to college is going to end my life? Had they known that, they wouldn't have gone. They would have taken another route. They wouldn't have picked that roommate. She might not have picked this young man to be her boyfriend if she had checked to say, what kind of habits do you have? Well, I lose my mind when I don't get my way and I kill and choke people. Oh, really? Next. That's a great sign to pay attention to, is the history of the people in your life. So while we're doing our social distancing, we have a lot of time to look at ourselves and say, what do I have that is out of control? Am I out of control or am I in control? Well, who's in charge of me? Me. Who can change me? Me. What do I need to work on? Maybe I need to do an online webinar class, ask somebody for help, go get some counseling on how to make sure I'm at my absolute best so that I'm able to be a great addition to someone's life and not expect someone to help change me. I need to change myself. And at your young ages, you are developing now. So that's a very important part of the do's and don'ts, is know who you are supposed to spend time with, who you are not, what you should be doing with certain people, what you don't need to be doing. So I want to read a couple more comments. Make sure you hear them, even if you aren't able to see them. Matt Morris says, that's why you should only surround yourself with people you can trust and know wouldn't hurt you. High five, excellent. You get some money. That was great. That was a great response. Gwen says, who are you allowing to lead you? What is the turning point as you identify people that are taking you down a destructive path? Pay attention. You always have the right to turn. We know that. And Winter, it is, I think it goes to show that you cannot trust everyone, and it is okay to back away from a friendship. I'm going to clap for you again. That is absolutely right. You know, when we talk about the signs and the signs when it comes to dating, if you need to make a U-turn, you see something that's going bad, you don't like it, you have a right to make a U-turn and leave. And you can go a completely different direction down a different street every day, any day. When you see the signs that say stop, that doesn't mean run right through it. It means stop and think about it and decide whether you want to make a turn. You might want to go forward, you might want to get out. You always have a right. And I think Alexis was trying to say, I don't like this, but her roommate wasn't allowing it. So we don't want to let bad people, wrong lifestyles in. So let's get into some of the do's and don'ts. I appreciate you all for this conversation. Yes.
I have a comment actually on this. You said we should surround ourselves with people that we trust and know that won't kind of betray us. But I believe that Alexis is her name. She thought she could trust that girl was her friend. She thought they were good friends. And so she trusted the girl, and then the girl ended up backstabbing her and turning her back on her. So we can't, because we think we trust people, but they're different. They don't show us their true selves until it's too late.
That's a very good point. And I think Alexis had seen those signs, and that's why she had to go to the police, because she obviously went to her roommate and didn't get any help. She probably said, don't let someone in our room. This is my sanctuary. Don't let him come back here. And her roommate was like, I'm not going to let him, he's my brother. Who knows what argument they got into over this young boy, we'll call him. And I think you're right. If you start to see signs and you don't always do enough research to know what's inside of someone, because they don't always know what they're going to do, but there could have been some history, but we don't know what their relationship was like. We don't know. So when we do see signs, like you said, we got to make some actions, because we don't know how much time we have to make that turn. Sometimes you turn on a dime. Sometimes it's curve around and go on out. But that's a good point. We'll get to that too. I have some more activities I want you all to get into. The first is, let's get some do's and don'ts. All right. Let's talk about the do's first. I did want to get your ages before we go, but I'm just going to trust that everybody's here who's supposed to be. So the first do, and Mr. Walker, I'm going to ask you to repeat these with me, because I think when we hear it more than once, we believe it. So I'll start. Do number one is realize and recognize that you are amazing and complete without having a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Great. Do number one, realize and recognize that you are amazing and complete without having a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
And I think that's important because so many of us are looking at computers and social media to see what's going on with our friends. And we think that when, they got a boo thing, they got somebody they're so in love with, and they're writing and talking and showing pictures. You've got to remember, social media is a presentation. People post what they want you to think. It is very different if you are face to face or in the same room with many of the people that you're watching online. Their lives are not all what they're posting. Those 3 pictures do not describe their entire month. So even if you've seen 3 in a month or 2 months, that does not mean that is all that is happening or going on with them or in their lives. It may not even be with that person. So you have to be able to balance what you're seeing and recognize that everything that is written and posted isn't necessarily true. You are an amazing, one of a kind, God-given miracle created to do something amazing on the planet in your lifetime, which we hope will be long, provided you are added and subtracted from people appropriately. So you are amazing, and I hope you remember and realize that the first do is you are 100% okay. 100% okay. Everybody say it with me, 100% okay. Look around. I am 100% okay. Say it again. I'm 100% okay. Good. Good. I think that's important for you to remember because you don't have to, at any age, I don't care if you're 12, 16, 22, 32, 42, you are amazing and complete without having someone else tell you that you're amazing and complete. That's why self-care is so important. That's why it's so important now while we're social distancing to be sure that we remember who we are. So when we are able to go back out, we will go to the right people. Maybe this is a gift in disguise. Maybe there are certain people that were going down the wrong direction and needed to have a break from some of the people that were taking them there. There are some good things about being able to focus and center on yourself. So I've got a couple comments I want to read. Everything is not what it seems. Thank you, Destiny. That is so true. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, Margie. I just want you guys to remember you are 100% all right, always, in or out. Mr. Walker, did you want to share?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's like, yeah, you have to tell yourself that you're okay. You don't want to rely on anybody else to tell you that because it's like a false sense of security. People have to want to be right. They have to want to be okay. And a lot of people fall victim to, outside interferences and things like that. So don't be drawn in by anything superficial or shallow.
I love it. We are all okay. And hopefully after these 2 months, 3 months of being inside, we should all come out absolutely better. I mean that, absolutely better. The things that we haven't had time to do, I'm going to say this again in a few minutes, but the things that we've said we wanted to do, we now have time and space to do. We are forced to find creative things to do. And we have another conversation coming up in a couple of weeks to talk about some things we can do. So I'll be talking to you all about that again. But do number 1 is just know you're awesome and amazing. Let's do number 2. Oh, let's do an activity. Yes, let's do that. All right, in the chat box, just to prove that you know, because if you were standing in front of me, I'd ask you to introduce yourself and your amazingness to someone in the room. And I don't know if any of you have anyone in the room you could be talking to, but in the meantime, you have us. We're here. It's virtual, but we're still here. I want you to answer the following question. What makes you a special person? And here are some of the places you find your specialness. And again, I find a lot of young people, sometimes people aren't able to identify all the awesomeness that they experience, that they exude. Now, because you're a Stewart Foundation, you already know. People have asked you, you've already told them, you've put it in poetry, you've read books, you're writing books. I know you know, and this is going to be an easy answer for you. I want to know a trait, a habit, a hobby, or a talent that you have. I want to hear it or I want to see it. You tell me. A trait, a habit, a hobby, or a talent. Destiny is a good listener. And she has a passion for servanthood. Bless you, Chuck. That is beautiful. Anyone else want to tell us a trait, a habit, a hobby, or a talent? Mr. Walker, do you have a trait, a habit, a hobby, or a talent you want to share?
Yeah, so as a child, I cried a lot. As a child, I had a lot of negativity going on in my world, in my life, and it stayed with me for a long time. And I tell people this story, but I like what happened with me is that I made a lot of changes, but when I really focused in on was my parents. A lot of times we go to dinner with our parents and we eat dinner, we cut the grass, we go on family vacations. We tell my mother and father, yeah, we love you, but we never study our parents. And what became the pivotal point in my life where I started making these changes. So I started studying my mother and my father. Now, my mother had a very addictive personality. My father had a very extreme personality. But one trait I found that I have in my parents that I didn't know I had, the reason why I was crying because I was avoidant was that I have a lot of mental strength. I have a strong mindset. And as a child, I had it, but I didn't know how to use it. And so I studied my parents. So I call that thinking inside the box. Inside the box is your body, your mind, your soul, your genetics, your DNA. Once you start studying your parents, you find out a lot of things that you have that you can use. I hate using the word tap into, but these are things that you can use. And all you have to do is sit down for a little while and ask your parents questions. What did they do at 8, 9 years old? What were they doing at 12? And for me, my parents were working and in the fields, things like that. But I found that I had this mental strength that I had to use. And there was times where I would set myself up to do things that were hard, not knowing that I could do it or not, but I wound up doing it anyway. And, I found that it wasn't as hard. So my trait that I have is mental strength. What's one of your traits, Dr. Love?
Oh, one of my traits? Well, I want to go with a hobby. One of the hobbies I have is finding 4-leaf clovers. That's just fun for me. I like to go outside, look at a clover patch, pull a 4-leaf clover out. And that's unique. I know not a lot of people do that, but that's my hobby and I love it. I see some really great entries. I've got that good listener. That was Destiny. Winter says that she's a natural born leader. That's right. Reagan says, I'm an artist, a singer, a journalist, a dancer. The list goes on. I know you didn't write that last part, but it's true. Let's see. Who else? Michaela says, my name is M. All right, Michaela. That's right. Say your thing. Yes, Miss Mason tells us that her level of empathy and compassion for others allows her to uplift humankind, as is evidenced by her amazing leadership of the Stewart Foundation. Thank you so much, Miss Mason. I think, there's one more. Margie tells us that she's got high self-esteem. She learned to love herself and God's purpose for her life. I think that's important. Once you know what you're on the planet to do, it kind of aligns you, gets you centered, and that's an important thing to be, is centered. So one more, we have Mac who says, I don't like seeing people I love hurt or mad at each other. So I pull all the negative things to myself, and I'm funny. See, we need entertainers. And I know sometimes entertainers in class get in trouble in school, but even at home school, you can get in trouble for being you. But there's so much about why you are who you are, why you do what you do. So I encourage all of you to keep that in mind. That's a part of what makes you the wonderful you that you are. Excuse me. So let's do number 2. Do number 2 says this: know who you are and know what you really, 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 really want.
Great. Do number 2, know who you are and know what you really, really, really want.
Absolutely. And why do we need to know who we are? Because we need to know exactly what kinds of things will match us. If you're a clean slate or you don't know anything about you and someone comes along and says, hey, let's do thus and so, and you do it, you may not be comfortable doing it. And it might be because you really were never created or made to even like doing that. But when you know exactly where you are and who you are, then you can easily say, well, what I really, 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 really want is something that matches that. So let's talk about getting to know who you really, really, really are and what you really, really, really want. So I have 2 activities. The first is a youth activity. Either you need to get your camera, the camera function of the digital handheld computer you hold around called a phone. I wish we did use them as phones and actually talk to people with them, but in the meantime, they do everything else. I want you to go to get to know yourself better in the area of love languages. Everybody has heard of love languages, but when you go to their website, this is the book created by Dr. Gary Chapman, and it looks at the 5 ways we embrace, the 5 ways we individually prefer to receive love. And on their website, 5lovelanguages.com, you can choose your appropriate age group, take the assessment, it takes about 10 minutes, and then it'll give you back the 5 in order of importance to you. So let's all say the love languages together. Oh, you don't know them all. Well, let's just go through them. Well, in no particular order. Receiving of gifts. Some people like love to be distributed to them by the receiving of gifts. That could be you. That means they might go out of town and come back and bring you something that makes you feel wonderful because you know they were thinking about you and they brought you something back. Or if it's not receiving of gifts, it could be physical touch. You like that pat on the back, you like the elbow on the side, you like hugs. If they say, you know, you're really important to me by touching your arm, your back, it doesn't have any other connotations. It's just a physical touch means something to you. Then there's quality time. Quality time as a love language means the person comes and spends time doing things with you, and that makes you feel loved. Or there are words of affirmation. Words of affirmation means saying I love you, saying you mean a lot to me, saying you are the bomb diggity, you rock, you know, saying those sorts of things makes you feel very, very, very loved. And then there's the last one. I said physical touch, I said quality time. Oh, no, I didn't say quality. Yeah, I did. Words of affirmation. What's the fifth one?
Communication. Did you say communication?
What's that?
Did you say communication? Quality
Let me see.
communication. Quality time communication is one of those.
All right. Well, let's go to the 5lovelanguages.com. And if you're a physical touch person, or if you're quality time, or if you're words of affirmation, or if you're acts of service, I think that's the one I didn't say. Acts of service are the actions that people take that make you feel loved. Let's say you need help lifting a box, carrying your books to school, or whatever it is, and someone walks up and says, hey, let me take care of that for you. Let me carry that for you. Let me help you. You want to fix that? Oh, let me help you do that. We all have our own love language. Now, the challenge is thinking that other people have our love language. What we have to learn is their language so we can offer love to them in the language that they prefer. But when it comes to dating, if you don't know how to tell someone how to love you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel loved, then it's hard for them to just know. So it's important for you to know what you need to say so that you can share that information with others. And this is important because the Gary Chapman Love Languages book is written for everybody, and then there's one for children. So parents have a way of learning their children's love languages, so they're able to identify which child likes love in which way. Each child is different. So any parents who are in the room with us know, if you want to do this activity and you have smaller children, this offers you an opportunity to do ages 5 through 8, or ages 9 through 12, or for teens. I'm going to recommend we all go to teens. And for the adults who are in relationships, it's great to go to the same website and select adults involved or a couple. And then there's one also for adults who are not involved with anyone in particular, because we all have a love language. Now, I also want to offer you, that's for the youth, I have something for you adults. So pay attention for my adults. This is the adult activity. I want you to focus on getting to know yourself even better using another opportunity. This is an inventory called archetypes. Archetypes are an opportunity for you to look at 12 different varieties of ways we show up in life. Some of us are the cheerleader. Well, let me read them. Some of us are creatives. Some of us are athletes. Some of us might be rebels, caregivers, visionaries, royals, performers, spiritual tastemakers. There are a lot of different ways we show up in our world. And this Stewart Foundation is the way some of us show up. And if you are available sometime the next day, maybe tomorrow, go to archetypes.com and take the inventory. It should take 15 minutes. They're going to ask you certain questions and give you a graph. That graph is going to have your top 3 ways of presenting in the world. Now, this isn't going to surprise you most likely, but when I do the archetypes test, I come out as a caregiver. More than 50% of me is concerned about others, concerned that they're getting what they need, that they have all the tools they need to be successful. That's because in my life, I'm focused on making sure people have the information that they need to make the quality changes in their lives, and a whole bunch of other stuff I do. Nevertheless, this is a great opportunity for you adults to know. I did this with my kids. They are able to tell what their 3 are as well. So when you know who you are, you know what matches you, you know what you like, you know what aligns with you. So I encourage you all, I wish we had time today. We don't have time today, but I wish you have an opportunity to go through it. If you want, you can contact me, send it to me, we can discuss it. Wisdom@loveliving.com is my email. I would love to know that you use this tool to help you know yourself really, 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 really well. So let's do number 3. Do number 3 says, do maintain the appropriate social distance from your favorite friends, but stay emotionally connected at the same time.
Great. That's another good one. Do maintain the appropriate social distance from your favorite friends, but stay emotionally connected at the same time.
So how do you stay emotionally connected? You stay emotionally connected by picking up that phone, that thing, that, you know, this, and dialing and calling and saying, hey, I was thinking about you, haven't talked to you in a long time, or maybe haven't talked to you since last week. I want to make sure you and your people are okay. I want to make sure that you are not going stir crazy. And I want to know I'm still here for you, even though I can't come over there and see you. Now, our governors have told us to do what's called a shelter in place. Never have we had to do that. Never have we been told, don't go someplace that you want to go. And I'm going to encourage you to just stay away from the people that you love, because the people who are carrying this particular crazy virus don't know they're carrying it and have shared it with people that they love by accident. Entire families who felt like they had to get together have gotten together, and in their getting together and hugging and loving on each other, have given each other this disease, and 3 of the 9 family members have left the planet and are done. That was their last fun activity. They shared this virus and ended up dying. We do not want anybody else to die, especially the Black and brown people of the world who tend to have other health issues that are underlying, may not even be identified, who are ending up getting this virus and are dying. We want to be sure that we love our loved ones by staying away. We can do a drive-through, wave through, drive, get your car, get your family in the car, get some signs, we love you, and go drive in front of their house, their apartment complex, wave at them, call them, tell them, come look out the window, because we still want to stay emotionally connected. But we don't want to go over there and say, well, it's just one person. Well, it only took one person. So I hope we've all been able to keep all of our loved ones through this, and hopefully nobody's had to suffer, but somebody in this room is suffering because somebody died over this particular disease. So while you're in love, while you're in while you have favorite friends, while you got your road dogs and your people, trust that this is a necessary way for us all to stay alive and stay safe. And I just want to encourage you to do what has been asked so that we all stay safe. All right, I'm going to move on. You're welcome, Margie. Appreciate you. Love languages are awesome. Thank you again. All right, so do number 4. Take this time to determine your absolute must-haves in a close relationship.
Yeah, this is near and dear to my heart, as all of the other ones, but this one really stands out. Take this time to determine your absolute must-haves in a close relationship.
What is a must-have? You all know what we've talked about before, but let me remind you. And we all have these kind of floating around. Here's some things that I think are important when it comes to another person that's going to be hanging around me a lot, whether it's just a friend or my ride or die. It doesn't matter who it is. What matters is that you have written down with your hands or your thumbs on some medium. And I would really like you to use paper on this one because I want you to literally see it. If you have a phone, that's fine. But I'm going to ask you to do this activity and know what the 5 must-haves you have in a relationship, a close relationship. It's important for you to know what you absolutely must have in a person who hangs out with you. You must, absolute must have. And there are only 5 that are absolutes, because that way you have, you have a filter that if someone tries to get in who doesn't have any of them, then you have to be able to say to yourself, this isn't for me. No, thank you. Next. But if they have some of your must-haves, that helps make sure you're, excuse me. Actually, let's get to the activity and I'm gonna go clear my throat. Here's your activity for everybody. Excuse me. Better. While I'm going to fix this, I want you to write down your 5 must-haves. And these are things you absolutely must have. Let me give you an example. Honesty. Personally, I got to have honesty with the people around me. I need to know exactly where y'all are coming from, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. I need to be able to trust that if I ask you something, you give me honest answers. And I think for most of us, that's a must-have, but maybe not. You tell me. Put your 5 must-haves down. You can put them in the chat box. That's too is a good place as well. But I want you to share what you have so others can see it. And if they want to adopt one of your must-haves, you know, that's great. So I'll be right back so I can sound a little bit. Mr. Walker, did you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, the must-haves. Respect, dignity, honor, trust, fairness. You know, a lot of times in a relationship, you know, you go in and it's like you have a one-track mind. A lot of people do things for other people and they miss out on what they should be having in their life. You know, but if you don't establish that from the beginning and while you're dating, you're not going to get that. And if you do establish that in the beginning while dating and you don't get it, that's not the right person. There are a lot of key things in a relationship that you need as opposed to what you want. Those are two totally different things. You can be physically attracted to somebody, but you need to be for them to be honest. And speaking from a man's point of view, a lot of men that are attractive, they don't feel that they have to be honest. They don't feel that they have to tell the truth or be fair. They just use their physical attributes or their looks to get what they want. So all the other things don't matter to them. But you have to make sure you have that trust, honesty, fairness, and you know, and also maybe some longevity in there.
All right, so I asked for some of you all, thank you so much. I wanted to ask some of you all to post in here, maybe your top one or two, so we can see them and look at them. But again, this entire conversation is a personal one that you have with yourself, but it's a way that you can look and see whether the people around you exude what is true for you and most likely is true about you. Sometimes these are just things and qualities that you happen to have, that you happen to like and you happen to use. And to have people around you who are like you means that you have a much better chance of going farther along the path with that friend or that favorite friend, or maybe even that more than the friend person. But it's because you've done your homework to check to see what kind of quality they have. Yes, we have Jatan. Thank you so much for offering trust, honesty, communication, self-love, and a sense of humor. Absolutely, self-love is so important because if they don't love themselves, they can't love you. Absolutely. And sensibility, thank you, Winter. Respect, honesty, being open-minded, and driven. You want someone who knows how to get up and handle their business. You don't want to have to drag someone along. Have you heard of drag-alongs? Those are the friends you have that don't want to do anything you want to do, but they say, oh, okay, I'll come. And then they poison the whole experience. You don't want drag-alongs in your life. Let them go. Say, that's all right. I'm good. No, thank you. What's that?
There's another, the drag-alongs. Also, you have people that are called energy vampires.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll sap all your energy, suck you dry, then you're tired and don't know why. It's because they took all your energy from you. So we have Margie who says, must love God first and foremost, must be honest, must be empathic or empathetic, must have and show compassion, and must be loving and funny. See, humor matters, especially now. All right, Ms. Reed, thank you for offering caring, honesty, confidence, respect, and loyalty. That's another one. How often do we see that? So this is a list I want you to continue. Some of you may have 6, but the goal is to know that if someone comes in your life and you really, really like them, but if they have at least 4 of your 5 must-haves, I give you a pass. You can go ahead and explore developing a relationship, but know what the litmus test is. They can't even come through the door if they don't have your must-haves. Otherwise, what are they doing? Exactly. Oops. What? Oh, no. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Number 5, do your very best to discover what's going on between your favorite person's ears. That's what matters most and how they will eventually treat you.
Number 5, do your very best to discover what is going on between your favorite person's ears. That's what matters most and how they will eventually treat you.
And why is that important? Why is that important? Of course, it's important because when you spend time learning about the person's history, their lifestyle, their tendencies, the history they have, you can go actually just read their webpage or their Instagram or their Facebook, whatever you have online that's socially available to all of the world, you should read that. Because when you find out how they've treated all the other important people in their lives, or when you find out how they treat random people, or when you find out what their pictures look like, or when you find out where and who they are, you learn how they're going to ultimately treat you. You might be special, but let me tell you something. People are habit forming. What they do, they tend to continue to do, especially if they're over 18. If you're under 7, you're probably still developing your personality, but for the most part, you are you already. Now, if you want to change and adjust who you are, that's cool. But don't think, young ladies, especially, if I might go here, don't think it's your job to find someone and fix them up. You're 14, maybe you have you to do. You got you to do. There's plenty on your list of stuff to do. You don't have to go, oh, well, I'm just going to help him with his homework and I'm going to make sure that he gets all. No, baby, no, sorry. No, I just know so many people who say this to me. I'm like, darling, you're still in high school. You can't fix stuff. You got you to fix. That's your first priority. That is your first job. That is your first task. Make sure you're journaling the information that you pick up and that you realize about the people in your life so that you don't forget it. What's going on in their head between their ears is what they see. That's where their seeing comes from, their words come from, and their thoughts and actions and ideas come from. And the longer you spend to learn that as you go along, spending time together, talking, the better your chances of saying, I can guess what this person will do in thus and so situation. As a matter of fact, you can play this game called What If? Let's say you're stuck on the phone for 3 hours because you can't get out of the house and you're not able to see each other or go to the game or see each other at school. What do you do with yourself? You play What If? You sit down and say, okay, what if in 5 years or 4 years or 20 years, we have all the money we want, where would we go? Where would you want to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now? If you could be anywhere you want, if you could do anything you want, if you could live anywhere you want, if you could have anything you want, tell me what it would look like. You will learn so much if you spend time talking and listening, sharing and understanding. And I know a lot of times that's done by text, but I think you get a live experience when you ask someone a live question because you hear how their thinking is, not how their editing is. Remember, social, everything is edited or has the freedom to be edited. So try to do more live stuff. Yes, Mr. Walker.
A lot of times, and I was guilty of this as a young man and even as an older guy, but we confuse communication with taking turns talking. So as a man, and not just as a man, but a woman too, but I'm speaking from a man's point of view, women like eye contact. They like for us to listen, to know that we're listening, and to give feedback. Don't just give 1 or 2 word responses. You want to, and if you have to ask an open-ended question for your man to really respond in a way that that he's communicating, then do that. But if you do that and he's not communicating, or he doesn't feel like talking, then you're gonna have issues there because a lot of men don't know how to communicate. We do know how to take turns talking because we feel as though a woman can't lead us or can't tell us what to do or control us. So you have to learn the difference between communicating and taking turns talking.
And that's why, thank you. I think that's why it's so important to be able to say, hey, I want to talk about something. I want to play What If, and you get someone's permission. That means that they turn off all the other stuff that they're doing. I know a lot of people think multitasking is a good thing. There's no such thing as multitasking. What you're doing is slicing up your attention into 20% modules where you're looking at a TV and you're listening and you're texting and you're talking to someone. People can tell when you are listening to them because all of your attention isn't all there and there are different pauses. I'm just saying, for those who don't typically talk to each other, this is a perfect time to do it. It's faster and it's live. So just
Leon. Hello, Leon.
yes. Everybody
I'm
say
back.
no, thank you.
Great.
Everybody back? All right, good. Everybody say no, thank you, because sometimes there are people who say, I want you to do thus, and so they see how amazing and wonderful you are, and they want to utilize you and all your resources, and it's important for you to be the one that says, no, sorry, and Bob, we're not doing that. No, thank you, and move on. So let's move on to, well, let's just say those are all the do's. Oh, we have an activity. What? Can we just talk? You know, do you all remember this basket? No. In this basket, we have lots and lots of questions because I hear this all the time. But Dr. Love, what are we supposed to talk about? Listen, you're supposed to talk about everything. Just pick a question. So guess what I have for you? Get your phones ready. I want you to take a picture of this. These are the questions that you can ask. What? Look at this. Here are 5 of 20 questions that I'm going to list so that you can start your conversation. And guess who you get to start the conversation with? The people in your house. Because you're not in your house alone. No, you are not. How many of you have parents in your house? 1 or 2? Grandparents, aunts, uncles, anybody older than you? Guess what? If you don't have a person your age in the house, I want you to practice asking these questions of every person that you have in the house and just see what kind of information you gain. First question, what states have you been to? That's a great question because some people don't know about their own parents' lives. I asked my mom, and she told me one day that she had been to Virginia or someplace. I was like, what were we doing in Virginia? I got a whole story out of her that wasn't even top of mind. I was too young to remember the trip. I had a picture of me there. And she said, oh, well, we went there and we did thus and so. You would be amazed at the wealth of knowledge your parents are. You would be amazed at the wealth of knowledge, understanding, care, and concern that your parents are. Your parents love you more than anybody you know. I don't care who says they love you. Your parents love you more than that, times 3. I promise you they do. They do. They may not show it the way you want to see it because they may not know your love language. Do the little video, do a little assessment and say, hey, mom, here's my love language. Guess what? She would say, I had no idea. I thought you were like me. You're not. You're different. So asking these questions, what would you say? Would you say that you're sometimes that you can be really silly? Maybe that's a yes, maybe absolutely not. What style dresser are you? If there's someone new in your life, you can ask these questions. Are you more of a neat freak? Are you kind of messy? Name one of your good habits. Name one of your bad habits. Let's check their honesty. Some people say, oh, I'm fine, I'm perfect. There are no perfect people. Let me tell you that. None. So if you have those questions, I would like somebody to ask, well, actually, just how about you answer the question in the chat box? Anybody want to do that? I'm going to give you the next group. Do you read all the pictures taken? Let's go to the next group of questions. How detail oriented are you? That's a good question. Are you touchy-feely? This is very important. I promise you, non-touchy-feelies and touchy-feelies do not need to be together. I'm just saying that. That's your free part. How does your mother show you love? Guess what? The way your mom and your dad show you love is the way you tend to show love to others. It's important to check. What about when you're angry? What do you do when you're angry with yourself? Do you implode? Do you get violent? Do you cry? Do you shut yourself off in isolation? These are important things. And this is, again, getting between your own ears and other people's ears. Do you think it's okay to have a difficult conversation with someone by text? That is a no-no. Don't you even do it. Don't do it. Don't break up with anybody by text. And please don't try to get with somebody by text, okay? I was laughing because I think last time I told you a story about somebody I knew who had somebody say, hey, are we going to be dating by text? Are you kidding? Absolutely no. That's an absolute no. Here's the third group. When's the last time you were in a fight? What was it about? Where do you want to live when you grow up? How trustworthy are you? How often do you say you're sorry? Do you curse at people when you're mad at them? Next group of questions. How does your mother handle anger? What about your father? Who inspires you? Why do you find them inspiring? So get these questions down and be sure that you ask these questions, and we'll be able to hopefully increase your ability to be clear about who's in your life. Now, for you adults, I have something for you. I want you to get your phones out because these are more adult questions, so kids don't look at this part. This is for the adults while you're practicing. Adults, there's a board game called Authenticity. It's called Improving Relationships Through Communication, and I have a couple of questions I want to give you. Ask these questions of the new people in your life. Have you ever been married? If so, are you divorced? If so, how long have you been divorced? That question alone can change the person you're talking to. When was the last time you saw a doctor and why? Because that's important too. People's health matters. Describe your relationship with your parents. You know, if they say, I hate them, they were awful, that's a sign. You know what to do next. Who do you depend on for spiritual guidance? How often do you consult this person? Spiritual things are important as well. And do you use a monthly budget? Why not? That tells you a lot. So if you have all those pictures, we're going to stop the do's. And if you want to just put your favorite do in the chat box, that's great. Let's go on and get into these don'ts. And these are pretty easy, so we won't spend as much time on them. But the first don't, do not go digging in the trash and drag up someone you know isn't good for you simply because you are bored. What was bad for you then is still bad for you now.
Yeah. Do not go digging in the trash and go and drag up someone you know is not good for you simply because you are bored. What was bad for you then is bad for you now. I agree 100%.
You know, I think we have to remember that even if we're bored and we say, well, I'm familiar with so-and-so, I just want to see how they're doing. Sometimes opening an old door can allow people to come back in and do what they did before that wasn't necessarily good for you. There's a reason you don't call them anymore. There's a reason you don't spend time with them. So don't go digging in the trash just because you're bored, and don't feel weak. I know that most of you aren't dating. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
You see me winking. But even if you once were in a relationship with someone, or if you were once involved with some people, but there were some bad things that went down and that's why you're distant, stay distant. Don't check. They're fine. If they weren't fine, you'd see it online somewhere. But don't go back into a space where you make yourself vulnerable again and begin things and lose yourself and end up in places that you didn't need to be. So don't go backward, go forward. There's way too much out there. You have too many people in your phone contacts list that you haven't talked to, that you need to go talk to, that you can talk to and develop relationships with. Don't waste time going backward. Okay? Any comments on that, anyone?
Yeah, I have something. Take this time as a quarantine, us being sequestered or whatever case, whatever you want to call it. And not just that, but if this is a time where before, when you went into the quarantine, that you were hurting in a relationship or you were, your heart was broken. And now you have to realize that it took something like this to quarantine not only our family or make us come together, but to quarantine you from that bad, negative, toxic personal relationship too.
Absolutely. Trust that there are good things that can come from this. Let's do another don't. Do not rush into doing something online that your future self would truly regret. Everything you post stays online into perpetuity.
Do not
years
rush
back. I'm sorry, go ahead.
into doing something online that your future self would truly regret. Everything you post stays online into perpetuity. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sorry, I kept talking. I get excited about all of these because we've already talked about this in the Stewart Foundation before, and that everything you do online is designed to make you look great. So that when your future college recruiter or your future employment recruiter reads your page, everything they see says, this would be someone we want on our team. This is definitely someone we want in our college representing us. This is definitely someone we want to give scholarship money to, because look at how this child, this 10-year-old, this 15-year-old started a movement to get people registered to vote in their community. And they're standing there with their list of 300 names of people who are voters. That's what you want on your social media. That's what you want in your Snapchat. That's what you want on your Instagram. That's what you want in everything you put online, because that is the way people will learn who you are. That is your way to present yourself. So please don't let somebody while they're bored say, hey, send me a picture. And you know what I'm saying. The answer to that is, are you kidding me? Get off my phone. Don't call me again. That's ridiculous. Absolutely not. Are you out of your mind? Instead of, well, I'm bored, it wouldn't hurt. Yes, it would. But no, you have the power to control what happens to you in your future by being alert and aware of who you have hanging around and what they imply and what they suggest and what they post on your stuff. So make sure you're doing what it takes to keep a really clear line between you and the ridiculous. Because ridiculous are all around you. You don't have to join them, be them, get them, hanging out with them, go places with them, do stuff they do. You don't have to. There's a whole realm of not stupid. A whole realm of, I think I'm going to make my life wonderful. A whole realm of, I'm a leader and not a follower. And it's obvious there are people who need a leader. I'll be the leader. Follow me. This is the way. So at your age, whatever your age is, 12, 15, 32, you are creating your future by laying bricks from your current life, which equals your past. And that's an important thing to think about while you're not dating anybody right now. You're not able to go see people. Focus on your presentation. Focus on your cleaning up your, you might want to go back through and clean up and delete some stuff. You'd be amazed at the power you have to change your future by changing your today. Do not number 3. You know this is important to me. I'm saying say it loud. Do not tolerate your can't stands in a friend, a favorite friend, or a special someone, lest you become so comfortable with the discomfort that you know something is wrong, but you don't know what it is.
That's a really solid one too. Do not tolerate your can't stands in a friend or a favorite friend, unless you become so comfortable that you know something is wrong, but you don't know what it is.
And again, I'm going to pull on my counselor self for a moment. Sometimes when I ask couples, and this is an adult portion of the conversation, when I have couples who've come in and they've been together for a long time, and I say, what's wrong? And they tell me, my question is, how long has this been going on? And they go, oh, well, and they give me this ridiculous number, like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Like, really? But, you know, the fact of the matter is many people who are involved together don't get professional help for a problem until 6 years of attempting to fix it themselves, at which point they tend to give up and say, I can't do it, I can't fix this. Well, it's important at the very beginning to recognize your can't stands. And I'm not gonna point fingers at anyone, but let's say one of my can't stands is smoking, cigarette smoking, any kind of smoking. And let's say I invite someone into my life who smokes. Now you and I just know, I just told you, I don't like smoke. I can't breathe in it, it gets in my hair, my clothes, blah, blah, blah. If I let someone come into my life and I say, well, that's okay, they'll stop. Am I accepting the truth or am I making up stuff? I hear you told me I'm making up stuff. The answer to that person coming into my life is no, thank you. Why? Because they're a great person. But if I let them in and they continue to smoke and I get smoke in my hair and then I walk around angry and you meet me, like, why are you angry? And I go, I don't know. Well, then you look at me and say, you know, you smell like smoke. I'm like, really? I don't even smoke. Well, guess what? I have someone in my life who I allowed in. Do not tolerate your can't stands. The answer is no, thank you. Everybody say no, thank you.
No, thank you. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to give you an assignment while Mr. Walker is giving us a comment on this, because your assignment is to write down your absolute can't stands in a close relationship. If you don't have it written, you might allow something to sneak and slide in to your life that you can't stand. Go ahead, start writing in the chat box as well. Thank you.
Also, never, ever, ever make yourself small for anyone else. If you're going to sacrifice something, make sure it's something that you planned out right and it's something that's for you and you're not doing it for anybody else. But don't reduce who you are to make somebody else happy, because 9 times out of 10, they won't do that for you.
All right, I've added a can't stand in the chat box. I'd like a couple of people to add a little something in the chat box that you know you can't stand. You know you can't stand it. I'm going to write the one most people want to put in there. Yep. I wrote it. I said it. Anybody else have a can't stand? Thank you, Destiny. Lazy, having no ambition, being unreliable, being untrustworthy. That's right. Confinement, lying, lack of trying, bad hygiene is a big one. Bad hygiene. You know, some people are practicing bad hygiene while they're stuck at home. Every day you need to shower, you need to brush your teeth, you need to comb your hair, you need to get your nice outfits. I saw an elderly person who did a fashion show because she's stuck inside. She did a fashion show outside, got her hat on and everything. Take care of you. It doesn't matter where you are, where you can and cannot go. Be the best you absolutely have. And again, while you're in this situation, you get to decide who gets to be around you and who you spend time with. Fakes, yep. So let's go on to our next can't stand. Is this making any sense to anybody? Are you all enjoying this at all? I'm enjoying it, but I could do this all day. I love all of this. But is this being helpful to anyone? And this includes my adults, because my adults are still, some of my adults are in the dating world as well, and all of my adults are in the adult world. We get to pick people to be around, hang around, talk with, work with. So is this impacting anybody positively is my real question. Thank you, Winter. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you, Marie. Mo. I appreciate you for saying that. All right, so you all have your can't stands list. I want you to doggone print that somewhere and hang it up in your bedroom. Because if you find, I was going to break into a story, but our time is short, so we have not given any personal stories. All I'm saying is, if you have your list up somewhere in your phone, in your bathroom, and you run across your list and look at your people and go, no wonder, this is on my can't stands list, and it's right there as well. You have the freedom to go, you know what, I've changed my mind. No, as a matter of fact, do not, number 4, do not underestimate the power of your last, your past, and your next relationship in determining your personal habits in dating, because what you do today impacts your tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Do not underestimate the power of your last, past, next relationship in determining your habits in dating. What you do today impacts your tomorrow. I have something about that too to talk about.
Let me tell you that your relationships are like are points in a line. So it doesn't matter how many you've had or how many you plan to have, and it doesn't matter how old you are. What you started with is a point, and the question is, where does that line lead? Is it leading you where you want to go, or is it leading you where you don't want to go? And I know this is a surprise, and I'm not going to speak of the Stewart Foundation youth, but when I talk to youth from around the country, they have been in relationships too early. They thought when they were 12, they should be dating somebody. Honey, there's so much you haven't really compacted yet. Wait until you have yourself compacted pretty well before you add someone else's uncompacted self to yours and make this amalgamation thing. Finish. Wait until you are ready, strong, and know how to say no, don't know. Because that relationship and the next one and the next one can determine what kind of relationships you are comfortable with, that you are used to, or that you're willing to get into. So know that what you do today, who you have around today, is going to impact what you are willing to do, feel comfortable doing, and plan to do tomorrow. Mr. Walker.
Yeah, look at it like you know, everybody has boarded a plane once or twice in their life, or they will. You know, you board a plane, you may have a small baggage. It may cost you $25. You may have a large luggage where you get to your destination and you got to drag it out. And then you got people that's picking you up, got to wait for you to put in the trunk. Don't take that luggage with you into another relationship. Don't take that luggage with you into another state with visiting friends or family. Don't carry that luggage around, because it will cost you. It may cost you $25, or it may cost you your life, or it may cost you a relationship with your family.
Let me say something else about luggage, or what we also call that is baggage. Those are the things you drag from past relationships, but sometimes those are bad habits that you drag from past relationships and assumptions that you have that make you think that whoever you're with now, or whoever you get to know now, is going to do things that somebody else did, when they don't really know each other. They never talked about you together. They don't even have any history. So when you have baggage, you have expectations that, okay, the last person cheated. And this, I'm telling you what, I hear so many young people use that term. He cheated on me, she cheated on me. What? Okay, sorry, that's a longer conversation I won't get into. But my point is, if you've had 6 experiences already and there's 16, okay, none of you are in that situation, I'm sure. But if a person at any age has had 6 of these experiences, they begin to think everybody is like those 6 people. Everyone is not like those 6 people. Everyone is not like that, and everyone won't do that. But if a person's been through 6 of these, their expectation is, oh, I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to prepare myself for that. You don't have to. You have to unpack that baggage and empty that stuff and go, I'm going to clear my life and not pick people like these. For one, obviously the common denominator in this situation of 6 for 6, that's me. I'm picking the wrong folks. That's on my can't stand list, and I'm not checking. Check, unload your baggage and go to every new relationship clear. You should be wiser after every friendship breaks up, after every friend you have that you don't hang out with anymore, and after any relationship you create is awful, or you decide you don't want to be in it, or you find your way out of it, or if it was destructive in any way, you learn, I won't be doing that again, nor that, nor that, nor that. And if that means I have to say no, have you ever heard of the game Duck, Duck, Goose? Duck, 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 goo, duck, goose. There are more ducks than geese. You gotta hit a lot of people and go duck. And after you hit duck, go on to the next one. There's so many options in the world. You are not restricted. Okay, I could go on and on, man. Okay, let's do our last don't. Baby doll, do not doubt yourself if a relationship takes a sudden turn that you weren't expecting and ends without your approval. People have the right to change their minds.
Another good one. Do not doubt yourself if a relationship takes a sudden turn that you weren't expecting and ends south or our approval. People have the right to change their minds all the time. That's right.
And let me say, if you had a copy of my little book of wisdom, you would know that one of the lessons in my book is that people come into your life for a period of time that I call a chiasmata. It looks like a fish. Your lifeline goes this way, theirs goes this way. And the chiasmata is that space and time where you're together. But if you find that it's not as much fun, you can end it or they can end it. And they have a right to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And my answers, my reasons don't have to be good. I get to say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I don't think you're awesome anymore, I'm out. They have a right. You don't chase them and say, no, you're going to stay. You express yourself and say, if there's some things I need to discuss, we need to talk about, let me know, let's talk about those things. I didn't realize this was happening. But ultimately, it is still up to you to be where you are and up to them to be where you are. And if that isn't the same, you are still amazing. You are still wonderful, even if they're like, well, not for me anymore. Did you want to say something with that, Mr. Walker?
Yeah. Don't go into the relationship. Don't go all in at once because you don't know this person. You have to get to know this person. And a lot of times the friendships we have right now, most of them won't even last. You know. So the thing is, don't expect anybody to be there for longevity, for as long as you want them to be there. They have an agenda as well. It may not be the same as yours. Women are very emotional. Men are very physical. So you have to keep that in mind when you're in a relationship or you're looking for a relationship. You know, you have to wonder if this guy just in it for the physical part. Does he just want to spend my money? Does he like me because I have a car, a house, a nice job? You know, I'm not knocking, man, but I know this is the type of person I was. We can be very materialistic. And when it comes to emotions and talking about emotions and caring and being passionate or compassionate, a lot of men don't have that. And that's when women feel let down. Like, what's wrong with me? No, it's nothing wrong with you. It was everything wrong with him, more than likely.
So again, thank you. You have the right to say, I don't think I want to do this anymore, but so do they. And I think there are a lot of situations we see in the news where one person isn't ready for the other person to say or no or let go. We have to be able to let go and move on. Everybody, let go and move on. I think people in relationships should choose to be in relationships and want to be there because they want to be there, not because they're forced to be there. Somebody's got them in a headlock, you have to be there. I don't think that's even good for those who are in marriages, but that's a whole nother conversation which we can have, because I'm willing to have that conversation. But I do think it's really important to honor what we are involved with and the people we're involved with so that we can enjoy all of our lives. As a matter of fact, here's an exercise I have for you to practice if you find yourself not sure that you're okay after a relationship is over. And I call this feeling word soup. So how does it feel when someone gets rejected by someone they care about? Because it happens. This happens in families. You have sibling relationships that fall apart. And you're like, what? 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 You are still awesome and wonderful if your sister doesn't know it. You're still awesome and wonderful if your brother doesn't think it. You, believe it or not, are still awesome if some of the people who matter, like your parents, don't know you well enough to know how important certain parts and things about you are. So put these in the chat box. Give me some sad things or some bad words, some words, some places you feel when things aren't going your way.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. All right, so let's flip the script. The other side of that is Self-encouragement is what you have to always have. Once upon a time, there was a king named David, and he was feeling pretty bad. And he said to himself, he actually said, "Why art thou downcast, O my soul?" He knew why. His circumstances weren't good. They were not the way he wanted them to be. But he had to encourage himself in the Lord. He had to literally reread the truths that God had given him about himself. And there's some things that are true about you and remain true, even if the person who left you doesn't recognize it. They don't have to see it all. You are a diamond, baby. They only get to see two sides. There's 35 other sides of you. If they don't get it, that's okay. They weren't supposed to, obviously. And the sooner they leave, the better, because you have time to clean that mess up, clean that area, scrub it all down, and move along. So we're going to do this exercise. Put some things in the chat box that tell me how amazing you are. Who are you? Who are you before they came in your life, and who will you be after they leave? And you better be better after they come in, because the only purpose in coming in your life is to make you better, for you to practice your skills of being awesome and allow them to practice their skills of being awesome. Relationships are supposed to be good for you. They're supposed to be good for you, all of them. You know, when people say, well, love hurts. No, it doesn't. There are parts of love that require a little bit of sacrifice here and there. But if somebody's hitting you, beating you, mistreating you, baby, you need to be out. That is not your best situation. So let's hear some of the self-encouragement. We know we can be devastated when someone leaves. We feel rejected. Some people are relieved when somebody's gone out of their lives. But you know what? You're awesome. We're good. We're okay. I am self-sufficient. I'm going to make it. I am super intelligent. Don't call me dumb. I know what I'm doing. That's dumb. What I was doing might have been dumb for 10 minutes, but I'm done with that. I'm good. So with that, I'm still blessed. Some people say they're too blessed to be stressed. You are awesome and amazing. Don't you ever forget it. Keep your mirror up. Some people I recommend you write awesome right under your face. When you're standing in the mirror, you see the word awesome, right? And every time you look in the mirror, you remember you're awesome. You are that. So if people don't get it, that's okay. They can pass on. There are other people who will come. And those are the don'ts. So with that said, I want to say, don't forget to use common sense to remove nonsense. So your relationships make sense. I'm Dr. Torri Love. I'm the official dating license instructor. You can find me at License to Date on Instagram and Dr. Torri Love on Twitter and Facebook. I want to say thank you to my assistant, the Command Master Chief, Mr. Leon Walker Jr., who's also an author, mentor, motivational speaker. I want to thank you. You can reach him at Leon Walker on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And we wanted to leave 1 minute for questions, just one, because I want to pass the floor back to the amazing and illustrious leadership team. And I want to honor all the volunteers of the Stewart Foundation. You all do this amazing work every month. Let me trust you. You've got crowns waiting for you, and you've got brilliant students who are growing up and becoming something in life because of your hard work, your dedication, your devotion. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you continue to do. So that's for you. That's for you. I'm going to pass the floor back to Ms. Gwen Mason. If anyone has a question, we will happily answer it.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal, Dr. Love. Oh, thank you so much for gifting us with your incredible gifts. I must say this was really, really phenomenal. I think the thing that I'm most sad about is the entire world was not here to hear that.
Oh,
absolutely phenomenal. And I know we are setting our youth on a trajectory of greatness in their relationships, in all of their relationships. So thank you so much for sharing. And Leon, you were absolutely wonderful. What a great partner. I love the female-male perspective. You are doing a great job. And now I would like to, you're welcome. I'd like to open up the floor to all of our incredible youth. And this is the time that I know all of you look forward to, because at the onset of our program today, oh my goodness, Angela Reed took us through an incredible opportunity to expound our minds for the greatness of books and accentuated Poetry Month this month. And we had 3 winners. And with those 3 winners, they have actually been sent Cash App funds. All 4, Adana should have hers now. Winter should have hers right now. And Nick, I did not get your Cash App. So if you would please put in the chat message, your Cash App, we'll get it to you. So fret not, for those of you who have not won anything yet, now is your opportunity. So here's my first question. The first question, Dr. Torri Griffin had a phenomenal co-host with her today. What was his full name, or what is his full name? So the first to actually answer that question in the chat will be our winner. So we're going to allow you to do that. So the very first one that I get that gives me the proper response will actually get a Cash App. We'll let you know who that is. We are watching.
I know.
I know you know, Dr. Love.
Nobody texts me and asks me. I'm not sharing that information. Sorry, you got to remember.
Yes, we've got to make sure that we give him honor, because he did a great, great job with you all. Thank you, Nick. We've got it, and we will take care of you, good sir. All right, so you guys get it right. Get it right, because his name is worthy to be committed to our memories, okay? So I'm going to let you have an opportunity to do that. I'm going to go on to the next question. Dr. Torri Griffin shared with us 2 stories, devastating stories, that have happened to individuals or couples. What were those 2 stories? So the first to give us the correct response will also be a Cash App winner, and you will get funds today. Okay. Did you have something? I don't want to say your name because I give it away. Leon. All righty. Let's see some responses. All right, guys, let's not miss out on the opportunity.
I saw one response, but that was half of it. Oh, they got my name.
Oh, they got your name. All right. Who was that? Leon. Who got the name? Let's see.
There's a little more to the name than that.
Oh, okay. I see someone. Is that the first one, Michaela? I'm not sure if that's Michaela or Adana. I know they're together. So Yaya Mayweather, Stab Young Boy, Baby Mama. Okay, so we said there were two stories that she shared. Right? Two stories. So let's get the second story. All right, look at Michelle. Michelle gave us Leon Walker. Yes, Master Leon Walker Jr. in the house. Michelle, excellent job. If you would please send us your Cash App and we will put something in your account, okay? All right. Okay, I see Destiny. Destiny said Yaya Mayweather, NBA young boy, and Alexis, her roommate and her roommate. Yes, Destiny, you got it. You are the winner.
Gwen, I believe Michelle answered both first. If you scroll up, I believe she answered both first.
Oh, Destiny did?
Yeah.
Michaela.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, Michaela did as well?
Am I looking at it right? Michaela,
yes,
one of
you're
them had
correct,
the answer though.
they had the answers broken up, but I believe she was first. Am I reading that right, Michaela?
Yeah, she had it once and then
yes.
She had Mayweather first and then
Michaela.
Clark Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because we are having, I didn't see them both, we're going to give both of them. Both of them are winners. How about that? Yeah.
That's nice.
Good job. Good job.
That's fair.
Yay.
So you want to make sure you put in your Cash App?
If you would, please make sure Michelle, Elliott, and Michaela. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if that was Michaela or if it was Adana. Please identify so that Ms. Meetza can have the records documented correctly, okay? So Michelle Elliott, make sure you send yours over. And Michaela, make sure you send yours over. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, dues. We had some great dues today. Oh, they were phenomenal. for the first person that can tell me what do number 3 was, if you can share what do number 3 was, you will be a winner. So give us do number 3. Do number 3.
And yes, this is only for the youth, no adults. We know you attention. Only the youth may win.
And I do recognize that some of your adults names will show up because the children don't necessarily have the accounts, but please make sure that those funds, and it's the youth that we're representing here.
Somebody just answered.
All right.
Excellent.
Oh, we got that right. Who was that? Let's see. Let me scroll all the way to the bottom of my searches. All right. Okay. Excellent, Francesca. Francesca, so do maintain the appropriate distance from your closest friends, but maintain the emotional connection. I love it. Oh, I love it. Good job, Francesca. You are the winner, my love. And let's take that one just a little bit further. For an individual that can actually send us 3 examples of ways that you can keep that emotional connection during this time of this epidemic of COVID-19, you will also be a winner. So give us 3 examples of how to keep that emotional connection. Good job, Sean Stewart. You are on it, girl. Oh, you are on it. You never ever disappoint me. You are on it, and I love it. Very good. Very good. All right. So for our next question, which do number was the following? Realize and recognize that you are amazing and complete without having a boyfriend or girlfriend. What?
Say it like I mean it. Say it like I mean it.
Somebody got it already.
That's right.
Oh, Elijah, number 1. Look at you, rock star Elijah. You're on point, good sir. You're absolutely
right. Mac Mars got it first.
Mac Mars, yeah. Yes.
Did he?
You can split it. It was like real close though. It was like, oh man.
Okay, so in that case, we have 2 gentlemen winners. They are on it. We've got Mac Morris and Elijah. They both are winners today. Yay.
Awesome. As a matter of fact, I want you to ask another question, compliments of Love Living Life today, and we will cash app you another gift for the winner of the next question. So give another question and we will back you up.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. So during do number 5, it's Dr. Love and Mr. Leon, Master Leon shared with us, do your very best to discover what is going on between your favorite person's ears. That's what matters most in how they will eventually treat you. How they will eventually treat you. So this is a matter of really getting to know them. What were some of the questions? Give me 2 questions that they suggested that can help you get to know that individual.
I hear pages flipping while they're checking their notes.
Yeah, they're going through. I love note takers. Let me tell you, the pen is so much better than mine. You write it down, you can go back, you can study it, you can reflect upon it. Wow.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, they kept track of these questions. This is awesome.
Oh,
excellent.
All right, where did it start? Let's see, where did it start? I see Michaela. You see Michaela? Oh yeah, Michaela did come in. Michaela says, what states have you been to? What style dresser are you? That's from Madonna. So that's 2 from Madonna. And Destiny states, What states have you been to? How did your mother respond when
That's
asked?
3 in the 6 minutes.
Good. And I want to give someone else, an opportunity to win, because I do believe and I love this enthusiasm. So we're going to keep this thing going. So because David said, do you curse when you get angry? Right? What states have you been to? Wow, those are great. Those are great. All right, Misa, if you would mark those 3, we'll have a little something for you. I know it's just giving day. This is good because we're proud. You all are engaged, you're taking notes, and it is to be rewarded. Great job, great job. Let's move on and let's have a couple of questions from the don'ts. What do you think about that, Dr. Love? Let's do some don'ts. What are some things that we should not be doing? So I love the number 4. So can someone tell me what was the don't for number 4? What was the number 4 do not do?
I hear the page is flipping. It's scrolling. It's scrolling. Don't number 4 was a very important don't.
Yes. Oh, we've got an answer. I see Michaela came back. Michaela said, do not underestimate the power of your last relationship in determining your habits in dating. Yes. Oh my goodness, that is so absolutely crucial.
Michaela's pretty quick.
Yeah, Michaela is on it, isn't it?
She was paying attention.
Destiny, do not underestimate the power of your last, past, and next relationship. Right? So Dr. Love shared with us, you start too early dating, you've got too much in the pipeline, right? It's too much. There's a reason that God has us to wait and to act in temperance, right?
Yep.
Good job, Michaela. So Michaela is the winner of that one. And can someone please tell us for what was the number 2 do not do in dating? What was number 2?
I think everybody needs this one. Everybody write it.
What was number 2? I think it would be great if everybody wrote it too, Dr. Love, because this is a big one.
Yeah.
This is a big one. Oh, Destiny had written earlier, don't doubt yourself in a relationship that did not go the way you wanted.
But that's not don't number 2.
That's number 5. Yeah, that's number 5. What was number 2?
Do not.
There you are, Lakia Carter. I sent you a message earlier, my love, and you have shared with us that number 2 is, or no, you actually shared number 4. So I'm looking for the response for number 2. Oh, this is good. So number 2, I see Winter. Winter stated, don't rush.
Lakia did it.
Rush into something your future self would regret. Do not rush into something that your future self regret when you're operating on what? Online. And for that relationship too, right? Dr. Love said, do not rush into something online that your future self would truly regret. Let's not do that. You can put something out online, you can't get it back. Once it's out there, bad photos, bad language, don't do it. Don't get angry, don't get too emotional, don't put that stuff online that you can actually regret, right?
You might lose your job.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because HR and potential employers, once they get your name, the first thing they do is to go and do a social media search on you to really understand who you are. So please, 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 students, let's not do that. Oh my goodness. So that was great. So Winter, you are the winner of that last question. So you all did such a phenomenal job. We are so incredibly proud of each and every one of you. We certainly hope you learned something. I'd like to ask that Mr. Stewart, please join me on camera, if you would, please. And if you have not, as winners, let me make sure that our winners actually have your Cash App on, because you will be receiving funds for being extraordinary. So if you would, Mr. Stewart, if you would please join me on camera. And Lakia Carter, thank you so much for that last and final answer to our question. You are the winner. So please send us your cash app. And hey, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, are you gonna show yourself or not?
I'm on camera.
Oh, okay.
We can't see you.
I'm there. I see you all. I'm on. I can see you.
Okay, I'm going to come out.
Your time, but not pink.
Maybe you got other people. Maybe you got too many others in, but I can see you.
You can see us. Okay, go ahead. If you would please share. Hopefully you enjoyed today's session.
Is that it? Do you see me?
Yes, that is it.
Yes, we see you.
Okay. All right. Gwen, Dr. McBride is trying to get in touch with you as well. So if you can take her call, because she says it's pretty important. She's got a young lady who's got a story that she wants to share with our young people, so she needs to have access in. But first of all, let me thank Angela. Angela did an amazing job of bringing Poetry Month to a close. And I want to compliment all of the young people who actually recited their poetry. Adana, Nicholas, and Winter. Thank you for stepping out to do that. I know it's not easy, like Ms. Gwen said, to share your poetry, but it was awesome. All three of you all did an amazing job. And thank you, Angela. Your books are always appropriate. You're just a walking encyclopedia for our children and this book club. I also want to thank Dr. Torri and Leon for all of the amazing tips that they gave us today and all of the exercises, and keep those exercises. I was thinking, during this time of isolation or being sheltered in, it's an opportunity for us to get better, to improve your own self. Over the last 3 weeks, I've gotten more projects around my house completed in this shelter in. I've cleaned out closets, pantries, I've cut grass, edge yard, fertilized, cleaned out my garage, put up a shed. I've done a whole lot of things. You should come out of this shelter in better than you went in. And if you don't do that, then you've wasted time. And that's time that you would never get back. So again, I suggest that you should read books like Ms. Angela said. You should journal. Journal every single day if you get an opportunity, and talk about the emotional part of this, but you should come out better than going in. This is really an interesting time. I was thinking, I was walking one day about 3 weeks ago. I was walking, and it really made me feel good. It was a Sunday morning, and there was no cars on the road. It was literally no cars, and I immediately started thinking about when I was growing up as a young man. On Sundays, usually things were closed. So, and people were with their families. They were bonding. Or even on Christmas Day, we didn't have a whole lot of stores open. People spend that time with family and friends and neighbors. And so I know we can't spend a whole lot of time together, but it is so refreshing to see the air seems to be cleaner now. We don't have the traffic that we so often deal with in Atlanta. There's a lot of positive. We got to find out a way to make lemonade out of these lemons. And so again, this has been phenomenal. This is one of our great workshops, Dr. Torri, because our young people walk away better. You've given them skills that will take them far beyond their teenager years, and traits, you and Mr. Leon. So I'm really, really excited about what was discussed today. We got some more amazing programs coming up on next week with you as well. And then on next Friday, I think our students will have an opportunity to do a kind of a paint-in. And I gotta give Shauna Stewart, our president, some props, because in her speech during the inauguration, she talked about how important the arts are. I was one of the speakers this past Thursday night for Fulton County, and they were it was T.I., Congressman John Lewis, Killer Mike, hosted by Shauna I'm sorry, what's
Sonya
Shania Chavis, Rucker, and Derek Bozeman. And and so young people, the census is very important as well, and these absentee ballots. Put pressure on your parents. Make sure that they are filling out the census. That money helps you in the arts. And I thought about you, Sean, and I actually mentioned that on the air, that if there's no research, if we don't fill out these census forms and take account, then there's no funds in place for education, the arts, health, the infrastructure being improved and things of that nature. So young people who are on the line, make sure you put pressure on your parents or your guardians to make sure anybody in your circle, any adult in your circle, make sure that they're filling these census forms out. Please make sure they're filling them out. And then make sure they're filling out their absentee ballots. That's so important right about now. We have a part of our foundation called the Vote for Me campaign, and that's because young people are asking adults to vote for them because they're not old enough. Well, make sure that the people that are around you are voting. Tell them that it's important to you. If it might not be important to them, but it's important to you. Too many people hung, bled, and died for us to have the right to vote, for us not to vote. I just wrote a piece called Winona, and Winona is a poem about Fannie Lou Hamer. And if you haven't had an opportunity to see Fannie Lou Hamer's story, you should pull it up. I'm sure Angela's got something on that, but you should pull up. Did I lose everybody?
We're still here. Go ahead.
You're still here, Hank. Now you've muted. Can't hear you. I apologize. We can't hear Hank right now.
Okay.
We're gonna try to.
I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Somebody muted me out.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. But I was saying I had an opportunity to watch the Fannie Lou Hamer. Gwen and I, we were in Mississippi not too long ago, and had an opportunity to go to the Civil Rights Museum down there. And in the Civil Rights Museum, it was phenomenal. But we had an opportunity to sit down and have lunch with a pastor there, and they talked about. He had an opportunity to tell me about a little bit more about Winona, Mississippi, and that's where Fannie Lou Hamer was beaten, almost lost her life for the right to vote. Want to sit at a lunch counter and the right to vote, registering to vote. So young people, it is you all have to take this mantle up. You see what's going on from a political standpoint, and you see this locking. Everything that we do in our lives is revolved around voting. Everything. You can't tell me, you can't give me one example that does not involve politics. So we got to make sure that we are engaged in the political process and that we're better. So I wanted to say that again. Thank you, Dr. Torri. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Gwen, Meetsa, Aquila, Dr. McBride, Angela, and all of our youth officers. Shauna, you did a great job. Michaela, great job in introductions. Adana, Nicholas, all of you all did an amazing job. I'm not sure if all of the officers on, Francesca and hopefully Nick, all of our other officers are on, but you all did an amazing job, and some of our new people from around the country are on. So this has been something that you should walk away better than coming in. So back at you, Gwen.
Wow, Hank, thank you so much for always giving us words of wisdom and sharing your vast experience with all of us. I would like to ask this.
I'm sorry. One other thing, Gwen. One other thing. Gwen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. There's a guy by the name of Fred O'Neill, and I want to mention his name. Fred O'Neill made a donation to the foundation. So some of the Cash App money, and I said I was going to say it, and he's with Edward Jones. But the Cash App money that you're getting today, was donated by, of course, Dr. Torri and and her team, but also Fred O'Neill from Edward Jones. And I want to make sure that we say that so he gets credit for it. And I really appreciate his donation to our foundation.
Very good. Thank you, Hank. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Dr. Torri. Thank you, our anonymous giver as well. We do appreciate all of your support, ongoing support. I would like to ask if Amber has joined us. Amber, we really like to hear from you, and youth and adults. If Amber is around, you definitely want to hear her story. Hopefully she's been able to get on. I'm hoping that she speaks up. I did send the information to her, so looking for Amber. If you are out there, Amber, we so would love to hear from you. Let's see. Don't see her yet, but Amber had a firsthand story she did want to share with you all regarding what took place with her from an experience that was very difficult. So we were hoping that she would be able to join and she could share that firsthand experience with us. I don't see her yet. Yep, I don't see her yet. If you all just give me one moment, let me see if I can get her.
Gwen, do you know if she was calling in, dialing in, or using the web?
Yeah, I sent her the web information, Meetsa.
Okay. Because I know we have some callers on the line, and they're with no names beside beside their ID. So I was just wondering if any of those callers was Amber.
While we're waiting on her, can we get Shauna to talk about a little bit about the arts piece that she was planning and seeing how we can continue that? Shauna? Shauna Stewart? Please make sure while we're doing that everybody signs in so Margie Preston would have all of your names, parents. She's also keeping a roster of all of our community service hours. And so we're racking them up. I mean, this is a lot of good things have happened. So I want to give Margie a special shout out too. And Meeks and Mo. Mo's job has been reduced since we've been doing these shelter ins. She hadn't had to provide the refreshments and all of that, but there's a lot of people working really hard to make sure that our young people have everything that you need. So again, I want to thank the whole Stewart Foundation family team because they work extremely hard. We had a successful career day on Thursday. 4 great speakers. I mean, we had 4 phenomenal speakers. Dr. Dwan Abram, we had Terry, who's in the music industry, Judge Tierney Gundy, Kevin Mills, and Rick Ross, who's actually a AR with the record company, and they did a phenomenal job in their presentations for our career day. This is the first time that we were not at a school, but I think it was probably one of our most effective ones because we got an opportunity to sit in and listen as well. And coming up next week, I think Dr. Torri will be back with us. Is it next week, Dr. Torri, or the week after? Is it next week?
It's going to be the week after. If I can change it to next week, I will, but right now it's the 29th.
29th, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. I don't know who needs this, but today is Saturday. I'm getting my day, I'm losing my days and everything else, so days and dates. And then we have our sip in with our former president, Shaylin Estelle. So we got a lot of good things going on. Gwen?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Amber, so maybe she can join us at a later date and share her story with us. And team, next month for our workshop, please look forward to an extraordinary experience in entrepreneurship. One of the things that we found to be extremely successful for those individuals that are entrepreneurs that can flip at the turn of a dime, that can address the demand of our audience, for those who have, jumped in and began to make masks, and those who, in the technology arena, I mean, those who get really, really creative and that can actually identify a demand and meet the need of that demand. Those are entrepreneurs. So we really want to open up this world of entrepreneurship with you all. Next month, we've got a phenomenal speaker that is going to walk you through the entire process of starting your own business. So get ready for that, because that's going to be a great experience. So without further ado, we so thank you all so much for all of your time and effort today. Please go and do something productive today. Miss Angela said it's not too late to send in your poems. She really wants you to read those books and send your poems in. Utilize your creative mind. Make sure that you're journaling. And I need to take note of that as well. So there's a book inside of all of us. So let's go write it. Great. Thank you all for joining the foundation. Once again, the Stewart Foundation is so absolutely committed to your well-being, and we look forward to seeing you all again next month. For those winners, please make sure your Cash App is there. I have not looked at my chat again. Lydia Carter, I need to make sure that I've got your information. So without further ado, have a great rest of the day, team. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Back to unmute and say goodbye. Have a great day.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Angela.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.